Couple of entertainment notes here. One, I keep on seeing this stuff from Arnold Schwarzenegger. This new docuseries is on Netflix today.
That's good marketing.
Yeah, they keep leaking stuff out. Yesterday, late in the program, Garbage Time, we were talking about, what did he say yesterday? Schwarzenegger. Oh, he said that how badly he had hurt Maria when he fathered a child with the maid, which, of course, is true. And I had some people say that new show he's in, Fubar, is a fun ride. Biggie said he watched it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So Schwarzenegger said, let's see if Biggie can guess. Who did producers originally want to play the Terminator in the original Terminator in 1984? But he didn't get the job at the last minute because he was too well liked to be a killing machine.
1984?
1984?
Man, that could be a few people.
Mm-hmm.
That could be anyone from Burt Reynolds to Eddie Murphy.
I'll give you a major hint. More known as an athlete that has done some movies. There.
OJ
Simpson.
Job. Yeah. Biggie was close.
Yeah, that's right. But they wanted him, so they thought OJ can play it, and he did test screenings and so forth, and they thought, nope, we need somebody more menacing who is believable to have killed somebody. Well, then look what happened to OJ. You know what I mean?
Time passes.
Of course. Let me say this. This is like the ripple effect or whatever. If OJ becomes the Terminator, A, do we know Arnold Schwarzenegger the way we know him now? B, is the movie as big a hit? And C, is Nicole Brown Simpson alive or dead? You know, it's like
You could do all that.
who knows where it goes. You know, what if he
That sounds like a job for either Chat GPT or an edible.
if I was on an edible right now, we'd talk about that for 2 hours.
Oh, because you could go so many different places.
Golly, I cannot wait to see my friend who's in the movie business and in edibles. Man.
Yeah, you'll blow his mind with this one.
We're going to do an edible, and I'm going to say, listen to this.
Is Twins ever made? Is Danny DeVito?
Yes. What a great... These questions are unbelievable.
What if Kindergarten Cop?
Would we have gotten that tumor line?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I will tell you, in this new show that he's in, they do kind of make fun of his movies in a way.
That's fair.
There's some lines in there where he's at one point he does, get to the chopper.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
That's
and
funny.
he mentions Danny DeVito. He's like, I love that little guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
So he kind of mentions his old stuff.
That's cool.
I mean, it's a fun show.
I don't think Terminator would be as big a hit with OJ Simpson. I think that Arnold Schwarzenegger is so iconic in that role. Although, Terminator, when Terminator came out, I didn't see it. I didn't care, but I looked at it and thought, that looks cheesy, and, the effects aren't good. And my friend, who you call Fonzie, who's cooler than can be.
Oh, yeah.
He told me.
He was first?
Well, he told me at lunch in middle school. He's like, well, in Terminator this and that. I said, I haven't seen it. And he goes, you haven't seen Terminator? Oh, my God. His parents ran a video store. He's like, we're going after school today. We're getting the video and we're watching it, period. And we did. And I liked it. But then when T2 came out, blow your mind. T2, blow your mind. So anyway, as the production moved forward, no one thought OJ Simpson would be believable as a killing machine. So they thought, what about this guy who had very limited acting experience and barely spoke English? And James Cameron said, perfect.
Yeah.
That's our robot.
That's our guy. Unknown, and let's put him in
That's our
there.
android or
And
whatever.
look how it worked. It worked out beautifully. Here's the thing now that more and more people are doing that I think we're right, that Dave Aiken pioneered it. It's putting closed captioning up on television shows, even though they're already in English, because you can't understand what they're saying. It started for me with The Crown. We had to put them up. I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Dave, I think Dave was the first person I heard doing the closed captioning, and it's usually for series that are produced outside the U.S.
He said The Crown, which is right. And then a lot of people did it for Game of Thrones because it was so quiet you couldn't hear what they were saying, and also had accents with it,
I've become kind of a closed caption person myself.
that's right.
I don't know when it happened or why, but it's just there now. And sometimes I'll turn it off. I know, but other times I just leave it and let it go.
But doesn't it mess up the picture? How do you?
I'll tell you what happened to me.
You're stuck reading, and you don't watch.
That's the problem.
Obviously, there have been movies that are made with closed caption.
And here's the problem for me. When you're watching on closed caption, a lot of times the caption will come up a half a beat before they say it, and you're like, it kind of spoils it for you a little bit, just for a second.
I will say, some shows and networks are much better than others.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes. And it's pretty smart now where it'll either drop it, sometimes it'll be at the top and they'll move it to the bottom. It knows, but some networks are really behind or really I kind of find it funny too when they really get something wrong,
Mm-hmm.
misspell something, or type completely different from what they
What
said.
they say.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened with me with Succession in the finale. And this happens sometimes. For whatever reason, the captions came on without me telling it to. And I said, we got to get rid of this because I didn't want any kind of spoiler stuff, like I just said, like it comes up 2 seconds before. And I couldn't figure out how to get rid of it.
How many buttons do you have to hit to get it on?
Well, it's different for different.
It's every one of them is different.
It's so annoying. And you never know if it's coming from, like, Succession's on HBO Max. And I didn't know if they had put the captions up or if my Apple TV.
I think it's by HBO Max because they're one of the ones that I don't.
So frustrating.
I don't like because it does come a little early.
So
yeah.
At the end of Succession, and Biggie knows this, it's like 10 minutes to go in the whole show, the series finale. And they're having a vote to see who controls the whole company. It's 5 years we've been waiting for this, okay? And there's a pivotal vote. And my wife said, we've got to get rid of this captioning because it was coming up a second and a half too early. And it took me a half hour. We had to pause the show. It took me a half hour to figure out, okay, and finally got rid of the captioning.
Oh, that is so. This is like a peek into your retirement years.
Exactly.
Man, this all makes sense then.
Exactly.
This all makes sense because I texted you, have you watched Succession?
Yes.
And he texted me back and he said, 20 minutes left in it.
Right.
So I said, okay. I didn't say anything else because I was like, I know in 20 minutes he's going to text me. 1 hour later.
That's right.
Amazing.
Took
And I'm
me
like,
that long.
did he must have had to stop or
Took me
something?
that long to find all the ways to get rid of the captions. So annoying.
It all makes sense now.
Oh, my wife saw an interview with the creator of Succession, and he was asked about the dialogue in Succession because it's really top notch. It's really, really good. And he says the key to it is when you get, and I think this is true, incredibly rich and powerful people, okay? The richest person with all the power speaks the least. He's fine with, and that's the main character, played by Brian Cox, who now he's voices everywhere. He's on McDonald's commercials now. And he says Brian Cox had the least dialogue because he's in charge. He doesn't mind awkward silence. He's in charge. Then the kids who are vying for the company speak more than he does. And then the total underlings who are like complete losers, Biggie, you'll know, Tom and Greg, they're constantly talking. And he's like, if you're wanting the power and you want just a foot in the door, you talk. And you're uncomfortable with, you are uncomfortable with silences.
Oh, yeah.
You see how much I talk?
Yeah. You don't like a silence.
I don't like a silence. I feel it. I feel it with a talk, a wheeze. I'll come in. A guffaw. A laugh that's not real.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's why. Uncomfortable.
An agreement with something you don't agree
Uncomfortable. With. Exactly. Wait till we get to the Live Golf Tour. You talk about talking about stuff I don't know anything about. I'll be talking in an hour.
Man.
Oh, man. We'll be all over that.
The only one doing more talking is the PGA Tour commissioner.
He seems uncomfortable.
Yeah, you think?
I have my thoughts. We're not. It's not on the grid. It's not on the grid yet. But I'll tell you, I have my thoughts on that. On the
get in line.
PGA, and
it starts with the players. Apparently,
it does. I'll bet it does. More soft copy. Al Pacino, as you know, is having another child. He's 83. Caught by the paparazzi out on a walk.
His the baby's mother is 29.
Yes, he's 54 years her senior. That's the biggest gap we've seen in a while. Maybe ever, as far as famous people go, except for especially having a baby. Now, Anna Nicole Smith and her husband were many years apart.
Bigger separation, I think, in years, but they never had a child.
No baby. This girl is 29. He's 83. She's been with Mick Jagger and some others. So Al Pacino is walking with another man, chatting with him, and TMZ is there.
Oh.
They've got the paparazzi. This is near Pacino's house in Beverly Hills. He's walking down the street, taking a stroll. So, of course, the woman comes up to him and says, "Oh, congratulations. Tell us about the baby."
Hi. How are you doing? I wanted to say congratulations on becoming a father again.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
How does it feel?
Feels... Well, it feels like it always did,
Exciting?
Well, I've had it too, yes. It's very special, you know.
Yeah.
I guess. Always has been. I've got many kids.
There's a man who can't wait. He
Don't
cannot.
you just wish he could be honest? No, this is not special. I stupidly thought that I was past my prime.
Of course, could no longer.
Because that's why I had to, he's had the DNA tag. Because he said, I got to have a DNA tag.
Yeah, to make sure.
Because he said, I thought I was done. I didn't think I could do this.
84.
Yeah, but he can't say
83.
that.
Yeah.
Because I think what he thinks is, oh, man, especially being Al Pacino,
Yeah.
even though I'll be long dead probably, the kid's going to see these interviews of me,
Yep.
and I have to pretend like I'm excited.
Right.
But in reality, he's like, God, no.
Of course.
Yeah.
How much parenting will he, when this child is 5, how much parent at age 88
Yeah.
is he going to be doing?
I
Who
mean,
knows?
That's what he's probably going to have to take on some work.
You
You think? You
Well,
think he
just-
saved his money?
You think so? Maybe.
I don't know how much I'm sure he's worth a ton, but he might have to, we've seen a lot of good actors all of a sudden take on some pretty bad work.
Well, Robert De Niro, and he also has a new baby. He's done some bad movie roles.
Yeah.
And they both have tons of kids at a huge separation age.
Well, look, that's clearly him just shuffling down the sidewalk.
He was. Yeah, he was.
Probably out for a walk going, what am I doing?
Well, De Niro didn't become. I'm sorry, not De Niro. Isn't it Pacino? It didn't become a father until he was 50.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, his
Wow.
kids are well younger than he is anyway.
Yeah.
They're generations apart.
Whereas De Niro has kids age 56 all the way down to a month. That's what he's got, which is even what a wide disparity. Can you imagine having you're 56 and your brother's a month old or your sister's a month old? How crazy is
I mean,
that?
I guess you grow up differently. Like,
Yeah.
I thought of his kids because he's got 2 with Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they've probably grown up, though,
Yeah.
in Hollywood and are used to this kind of thing, so it's not such a big deal.
Maybe so. That's right. One more piece of soft copy today, and it has to do with the Rolling Stones. They have teamed up with Keurig coffee makers. That was Biggie's jam at one point, Keurig.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a great coffee maker.
I like Keurig. I do.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I made hot chocolate with it.
Oh, that's right.
And I loved it because it was single serve. I'm pretend to be an environmentalist, but I didn't mind all the plastic. I just was like, I didn't think about that. I'm getting ready to get possibly a Toyota Land Cruiser. And people have told me, you obviously don't give a rat's about the environment. It is an older Toyota Land Cruiser.
Haters going to hate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Haters going to hate. And I loved in the hot chocolate, the taste was like plastic, which I liked.
Oh,
Remember that? It had that plastic aftertaste, and I thought,
this is what I'm looking for.
It's a little something that I enjoyed. Nonetheless, they've come up with something called the Start Me Up Iced Coffee Kit, as they've teamed with Keurig. Chris Tibbs calling it the second worst merger of the day.
I mean, at least the golf is knocking this embarrassment off the front pages.
I don't know. I'm interested.